I guess the last thing too, something that really helped me was setting. My biggest goal was to just get back to being a normal kid. Like
right.
being a 19, 20-year-old,
Yeah.
21-year-old kid, but I couldn't get there without small goals.
But I believe the great is still yet to come. I won't stop fighting, man, until I'm done.
Good morning. Welcome to the Breakfast Ball. Now, Richie, correct me. Is this episode 14 or 15?
This is 15, Bob.
This is 15.
This is
okay.
15. We are one over mediocrity.
Yes.
One over.
So we always say each week that the average podcast lasts 7 episodes. So we're now in 15.
You're more than double that.
Yes,
Very
we've
nice.
now doubled,
That's awesome.
doubled mediocrity. So anyway, my name is Bob Cardia, the host. To my far left, your far right, the dashing Richie Stoltz. And in the middle, it is our true privilege, pleasure to have Sean Sanchirico. Sean is a former player for us at Rutgers. And in addition to being probably one of my favorite all-time personalities, is one of the most inspirational dudes you're ever going to meet. I know the Golf Channel did a feature on Sean. And I remember we were on CBS together with UT Washington, I believe, in Philadelphia with Sean. Sean has battled. We'll get to what Sean has battled, but he and I have a certain kinship. We both had some medical issues over the years. For those of you who know me, I mean, I battled from a tumor in my head and then a rare heart surgery, and I've battled through a lot of things in my life. But Sean, in the prime of his life, coming into college, I guess in 2013-14, came to Rutgers and had a whole series of issues. And I have not met someone who's battled quite the way Sean has to get where he is today. So I guess with that said, I don't want to tell your story. I'd rather have you tell your story. So please, starting from when we met in 2013, enlighten our viewing audience. Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thanks so much. This is a cool setup. Happy to be on here. Basically it all started for me in the summer of 2012. Started experiencing significant stomach issues and was rapidly losing weight because I was, couldn't keep food down, any liquids down even for so long. And make a long story short, that really just kind of continued for about 18 months. I was still going to...
We thought it was a stomach issue at that point, right?
Exactly, yeah.
You were running into the woods getting sick and we were wondering, we thought it was like an ulcer or something.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I went and got second, third, fourth opinions at different places, and the entire time they're just kind of checking out my stomach because those were my really only symptoms. Was I couldn't keep food down, I was lethargic, and I kept, vomiting no matter where I was. I was a senior in high school at the time when it first started. Finished classes and everything, showed up, and then, then I met you. Yeah.
I didn't make him sick, by the way.
Yeah. No, I was sick. I was sick prior. Yeah, but, I mean, my senior year of high school, I was, like I said, still going to class. I was playing on the golf team there, trying to keep up with, being a senior in high school, doing all the fun things. But there were many times where I just really couldn't push through it. So whether I was golfing, I was running off into the woods, getting sick, but I was always trying to push through. Just wanted to be out there and live a normal life, compete. I was fortunate enough to then meet Coach Cardia and, end up going to Rutgers Camden, still being sick, and really proud of myself, too, that I was able to kind of push through and still compete at, a relatively high level. And take it on to Rutgers Camden.
Yeah, because at that point the team was still, we went through, 9 out of 11 years where we made the national championship. We were on one of those teams.
Yeah. Right.
I still remember when you called me to tell me this, but please you continue it. I remember we were on the team bus. I guess we were at maybe conference championships or something. You called me, and I had to break the news to the team. But you, please don't go.
Yeah, no, you're good. And then, so it started continued, through probably fall of 2014 where, still just getting second, third, fourth opinions, still just my stomach being treated, not looking elsewhere, until eventually I remember being on the golf course and being in class. First on the golf course, I started seeing 2 golf balls. Yeah. Looking up at the flag, I started seeing 2 flags. In class, I was seeing 2 of my professors when there was only one. Mm-hmm. So I immediately, talked to my parents and said I'm having these vision changes, and it's pretty constant. It wasn't just sporadic. I'd all of a sudden, anywhere I looked, it was just double vision. So I went to the eye doctor on a Thursday, and he looked in my eye and said that my optic nerve was just incredibly swollen and inflamed. And I was at the appointment by myself locally, thankfully, and he sat me down and said, asked if my parents were around. So right away, that was
red flag.
That was a red flag, and
Good thing.
I knew the constant struggle that, of course, I faced, but then my parents faced too, because they were the ones taking me to my appointments, and were obviously so upset to see me going through what I was going through and not getting anywhere for so long. Yeah. So when they received that phone call from the eye doctor and they showed up, I think they knew that maybe there was something really wrong, and eventually an answer. So, like I said, that was on a Thursday, and he said something with the optic nerve, nothing that he can really help with. He ordered an immediate MRI that I had the next day on Friday, which revealed a brain tumor in my fourth ventricle around my cerebellum area. Ironically, the size of about a golf ball, I was told.
Irony. Yeah.
Yes, irony. So, like I said, that was found in MRI imaging on a Friday, and I stayed in the hospital throughout the weekend because my surgery team wasn't comfortable sending me home once they saw that, and I was in for surgery on Monday. Yeah. So it all happened.
So did you call
really
me
quick.
From the hospital? Is that what you called me from?
I think I called you Friday evening once I was admitted, checked in.
I remember it was yesterday because we were on the bus. We just got back on the team. It was dark out, and I got the news, and I told the team, and it's like, you remember where you were when something happened. Yeah. And I remember telling the team that, and it was just like one of those moments where everybody just sat back wow, that's because you never expect that at your age.
Right.
It was definitely a sobering moment for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, I do remember making those phone calls to a lot of my people, and of course wanted to tell you, but I remember I was hesitant because I think you had success at that
we did
tournament. So I was like, how do I want to break the news right now?
It's okay. That's what it's certain I know I always kid around saying when I recruit people, I want people that will push grandma down the stairs to win. It's a metaphor. I don't really want health and life is much more important.
I was about to go do that.
Right. Richie did. That's why. It's
Sounds like something Richie would do.
Yeah. So, walk us through. So then you have the surgery, and I remember the recovery period was extensive. I remember we used to come and visit you in the hospital.
Very. I know. I was looking for my bucket hat. Oh, yeah. I couldn't find it.
I think I got one around.
Yeah.
We had hats made, bucket hats with Rutgers logo on it, saying SS Strong, Sean Sanchirico Strong. The whole team wore them. It was pretty. It
was
cool.
Awesome. It was a great gift. I remember I was so excited and happy to be in the hospital and receive that. So I was going to physical therapy wearing my bucket hat. That was fun. But yes, recovery was extensive, much more extensive than I would have ever thought, to be honest. Reason being was because when my symptoms first started in early fall 2012, they suspected that was the time the tumor was kind of started, and was growing ever since. That's why I kept getting sicker. So it grew to be quite large, and really took a lot out of me. So kind of the way I was explained about it was after surgery, my brain was kind of so used to it being there for such a long time that when it was removed, my brain was kind of confused to a sense. So, like I said, it was on my cerebellum area, which really kind of affects my balance and coordination, anyone's balance and coordination. So that was the first thing. And also the double vision worsened because my optic nerve was so affected. So it was...
I remember you were wearing special glasses at one point.
Yeah. The double vision became so bad where I was, seriously, looking at you here and the other you being over there.
And to me is never a good thing.
No.
Yeah. I've been told that many times.
It was. I was in ICU for about 14 days. Unfortunately, caught an infection from surgery, which... I don't really remember much from it, but my parents and family kind of described it as being just as, if not a little scarier than the actual surgery.
I think I was talking to your mom on the phone at that point, and Yeah, thoughts and prayers were like going out to you mad. Yeah.
And again, I never knew much about a brain tumor or anything like that until I was experiencing it. So it was probably for the best, right? Because I didn't know what I was kind of getting into and didn't know these things could happen.
I'll tell you what, being dumb about things is great. Because I remember when I had the tumor in my head, I went down to Virginia, and the doctor said to me, he's like, look, I've done 1,500 surgeries in that area of the head.
Right.
8 like yours and 4 went well. And at that point, that was a sobering moment for me. Like, oh my gosh! But to that point, I'm like, hey, let's go to Virginia. Like, I brought a friend of mine. We went down. We went to a bar after the doctor's appointment. It was like we were just so dumb. I didn't know anything.
Right? Yeah. You could be so. What is it? Nothing better than being dumb about something, right? I like that.
Yeah, being oblivious is great.
Yeah.
You know there's a problem.
Yep. That's great. So after thankfully recovered after the infection and everything, so it extended my stay in the hospital a little bit longer. And then I was checked into an acute rehab because I really had to work pretty routinely daily on my balance coordination.
I remember that they did a harness. I remember we were there. We were walking and then walking down the hallway. We came to visit you. It was cool. We had a putting mat in there too.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
I still have a picture of that. But yes, because my vision was so bad, I did have these goggles on. That's I'm wearing them in the picture. Physical therapy was great. They had a putting mat. I was able to roll putts and eventually...
You put better than Richie.
Yeah, I tried. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
I mean, he hits it 100 yards further, but, that's...
Kid shoots 61, he can't putt.
Yeah. That short game's gotten me very far in life. So, yeah, I was in rehab for a while, but really progressed and... they did have a harness kind of machine, and I remember I was kind of buckled in, and it was really cool. It was something on the ceiling where if people are learning how to walk again and things like that, it's basically kind of goes around like a track. So I practice walking on that, and then also have a couple of videos where I've kind of just on the harness, kind of just practicing my turn.
I think that was on the Golf Channel too, that part, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I think
it
so.
was.
Yeah. It was really cool. Yeah.
Right.
It was a great experience.
Yes.
I mean, a great experience to be on a Golf Channel.
Yes.
Not going through what you went through.
Yes.
I wouldn't recommend going through it.
And then recovered really well.
You were back.
Progressed.
We recruited you in 2013, and then you had to take 14 off, right?
Yes.
And then you came back, I think, late in 15, and you played 15 through 18. And
that's right.
I mean, you played some really, really good teams. So never cracked the starting lineup, but your numbers were you were solid. We had like a B and a C team, and let you know, we were so good at that point that our B team, we entered them in tournaments with our A team, and twice in the span of 3 years, our B team beat our A team. Our B team.
That was my senior year.
Yeah.
I will never forget that.
Let's go.
And I'll never let the A team live it down.
Yeah.
Wait, that was your senior?
That was my senior
so
year at
yeah,
Stockton.
that's when you guys beat
B
us.
team, we came in first place, I think, right?
Twice,
We
you
beat the
beat
A
us.
team.
That team was so stinking deep that
Yeah.
the top. So we had, I think, 14 players on the roster at that point, and I think 11 or 12 of them were former number 1 high school players. It was like the team was stocked. Like my son was a 6-man at one point, and like I remember he was shooting 73, 74 once in a while. And he wasn't, I think that kid only started, twice in 4 years or 3 times like that. Those teams were really solid.
Yes, they were solid.
Yeah. Well, that's good. So, question. So, I was reading this. I saw the name Drea Palmer only because I thought Arnold Palmer when I thought about it. And she had cancer at age 19. And she said, for her to beat it, she focused on, basically a strong support system, which is always huge. Mm-hmm. And then she said visualization and meditation. And I bring that up only because we had Spencer Broad on not too long ago talking about meditation and how it can help not only with struggles in life, but outside influences after battling cancer or tumors or heart, it can help you. So I read that and I'm like, boy, that's really, really good. But then I thought my own personal, how I dealt with adversity, and I dealt with it a little bit differently. So I want to know how you dealt with it. So going through all of this, what was your way of staying on track, your way of staying focused, your way of moving forward, not looking back? What worked for you?
You mentioned a support system. That's definitely number one.
Yeah, Gary and Bridget are great.
Yes,
your parents
of course. Big shout out to my parents. Seriously,
big shout. Yes, I haven't talked to you in a while. I said, bumped into your dad not too long ago.
Oh, yeah?
But maybe at the bank or something like that. but I think it was at the bank. But yes,
Yeah.
they're great people.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they helped me get through this really entire journey, and still do. To this day, I'm still get checked up with MRIs. I actually just had one earlier this week, which was good news.
Good.
They keep a close watch on a guy like me, which can be annoying at times, but I'm thankful for it.
Same way. I got to go every year for an exam, which is like, you're right, you're okay.
Yeah.
They say you're fine. Like they check my head and everything. There's nothing there. I'm like, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Right. Yeah.
We already knew that.
Yeah.
We didn't need a doctor's appointment for that one, Bob.
Yeah.
They put a candle on this side, and they blew it and went out on the other side. I'm like,
Yeah. But a support system is huge between my parents, my brother, my wife.
Yeah, I know you're married.
That's right. Yes.
That's crazy.
Yes.
Like when I
Thank
saw
you.
2013, I thought to myself, "Holy shnikes, I'm getting old." Like that. Like
Yeah.
that's 11 years ago, right? Well,
Yeah.
congrats though.
Yeah,
right?
no, thank you. But just one of the many people, my extended family, aunts, uncles. I have a huge amount of aunts and uncles and cousins and friends. So support system is huge.
Nice.
Whether you have a large one or you have a small one, it's always helpful to have a group of people to rely on, and then having that support to kind of keep pushing you forward and have someone to talk to and provide emotional support is huge and really made and continues to make a difference for me in pushing through.
Yeah.
I never really realized this about myself, but the second thing I'll say is once I was going through this initially, adversity was something that really fired me up.
Yeah.
I never really faced anything like that, of course, before, but I was so sick for so long that once I was recovering and recovered, my stomach issues were gone. So I felt good. I was all about the comeback.
Yeah.
And it just really fired me up that I was healthy. I was, facing adversity for so long, and I was so looking forward to just battling every day and coming out on top with my own personal goals. And then I guess the last thing too is something that really helped me was setting, my biggest goal was to just get back to being a normal kid. Being a 19, 20-year-old, 21-year-old kid, but I couldn't get there without small goals.
Yeah, I tell you what, like you said that, and like I because when I was prepping to do the show, I tried because I wanted the show to be about your struggles, but I can't help going to what happened with me as a kid, and what you just said is so like you just want to be a normal kid at that point.
Right.
It's you just want to get back to some degree of normalcy, and like the way I did it was like every day you're just keep moving forward.
Right.
Because there was really, to me, there was no other choice but to do. Like,
right.
I want to keep getting better. And I think, and you tell me what you think, when you overcome that degree of adversity, your perspective of life changes.
100%.
Yeah. Like, I was talking to actually I was having lunch with somebody. But we were talking about adversity. And, like, when you deal with adversity, you're much more likely to if you push through it like we have, to be stronger on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's valuable, actually, adversity. It's like a lot of people it's hard hard to imagine saying bad things could be good, but they could be. So with that said, okay, we only have X amount of time, so I want to, what are you doing now? Mm-hmm. And I know you have a non-for-profit that you're working with, so we want to hear all about that also.
Thank you so much. So career-wise, I actually work for Penn Medicine, the health system that really kind of did my surgery, and I did recovery through and progressed through. So I'm in physician relations with Penn, which does what? Yeah, which is connecting doctors to doctors, and you'd be really surprised at how many employed doctors in the same health system really don't know of each other. So there's lots of that, but then there's also this sense of kind of a sales marketing mentality with the non-affiliated groups that want to refer their patients to Penn. And it's not just where I am, it's everywhere. There's the wait times for appointments, and they're not being able to access. So I'm kind of that liaison for helping patients get appointments and helping them get the best care. And that's something that's so important to me too, because when I was going through it and I was recovering, And I said to myself, I really want to like give back.
Yeah.
Whether it was to,
I remember you saying that.
Yeah,
Yep.
really wanted to give back. And career-wise and nonprofit, which I'll get to, I feel like I'm doing that. I don't have a personal connection with patients, but on the back end, I kind of do. And it's really satisfying when somebody, a doctor reaches out to me and says, they have maybe a brain tumor patient or something, and, can you help with an appointment? So I reach out to my contacts, and that makes me feel like I'm really giving back. But yes, a nonprofit, I started a couple years ago now. It's called Stay the Course, something that really resonates well with me in aspect of life, but also, the golf aspect too. So it's been a really slow start. I think last year with the wedding and all the fun stuff.
Well, if you look at your past several years between your health and getting married and your career, it's understandable. It's a lot going on. Yeah.
Yes. The whole goal of the nonprofit is to connect with young adults that are traveling similar health journeys, challenges that I have.
And we talked about this, and we've done, Richie and I have done a lot of special events and whatnot. Mm-hmm. I think there's, creating it as we go on here on the show, I think there's a chance that maybe we could put together some kind of function, whether at Valari's or where we're talking about going to. I would love to do something. Yeah.
I'd love that. Yeah. So
remind me too. I want to talk to you about something after.
Definitely.
Because I run a golf tournament, so.
Oh, sweet. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll do. I love that. Yeah, I'm full go 2024. Like I said, it's been a little bit delayed for a while, but I have made connections with some adolescents, young adults that are going through some health challenges. So it's been good to kind of give them emotional and a little bit of financial support. But I really want it to take off.
I think it's awesome.
So that's the goal. This year.
I'm excited to be involved with it.
Yeah.
So now,
thank you.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. The dashing Richie Stoltz over here, right? So you've listened to us talk now for 20-something minutes. I'm interested because I know, obviously we all have our own demons and adversities too, and we can talk about that at a different show. But listening to Sean and knowing, what I've been through and whatnot, what do you draw anything out of perspective of life or something that helps you motivationally to move forward from this?
So, one thing that I've always kept in the back of my mind, when something goes wrong, I like to think it could be worse. Yeah. It could be worse.
Yeah.
And could be a Cowboys fan. Richie's a Cowboys fan.
Well, you got all Yankees, Giants stuff.
Yeah,
come on.
You're no bad.
I like to win.
Yeah.
You're
go
no
Birds.
better.
I'll just say it here. Go Birds.
Go Birds. Yeah, that worked out well.
Yeah.
Maybe we will fight in this episode. No, but I feel like, that always pulled me through. Is it could be worse. It could be harder. I could be dealing with something way more significant than what I'm dealing with now.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, and you already touched on it, is adversity. On the team, you always talked about facing adversity on the golf course.
Yep.
Well, you had to face adversity on and off the golf course. You were the definition of facing adversity.
Yeah.
And, that playing on the team with you and you being, you were, I think it was you, Colton, and Corey as the captains my freshman year.
Yeah.
And no offense to Colton and Corey, but I saw you as probably the best captain just because of the message behind you being on the team.
No, thanks.
The adversity that you had to face to be there.
The way I see those three, for example,
is
Corey was the best player of the three.
Yeah.
Yep.
Colton had the biggest personality of the three.
Yeah.
And you were the most inspirational of the three.
Yeah.
That's exactly the way I saw it. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, very accurate.
Yeah.
But
For sure.
just the facing adversity. Again, you always talked about it, but being able to face that adversity, I might shank a golf ball, but you had to deal with all that plus that.
Right.
So it's
I love it, and it just
you say I shank a golf ball.
He didn't shank.
well, everyone shanks a golf. If you
I
don't shank a golf ball, you're lying.
Usually this time of
never
year,
have.
I get the shanks.
I shanked two on the range the other day. I was sweating a little.
We were given a lesson on sand trap the other day, and I said to the kids' class, I wish I could be more help to you guys, but I've never actually been in a sand trap.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we got to wrap it up. But the adversity thing is awesome. I read another one of Malcolm Gladwell's books, and he talks about the relationship between being a genius and being successful. And there was, I guess, Dr. Termine. He did his patients. He got, they called them termites. And it was the most high IQ people like that he could find. So they studied, let's just say, I forgot the numbers, but the most highest IQs for the top 100 people on the planet or something like that. And there was absolutely zero relationship between being super, super smart and being successful. Zero. Okay. But, like, if you look at the CEOs of companies, like, usually always play a group sports team or for some kind of fraternal organization or battled some kind of major adversity. So I guess what I'm trying to say in a way is life is probably, a greater teacher than just being, super intelligent, because Lord knows, I'm speaking for myself, I'm not super intelligent. But
Nor am I, Bob.
Right.
Me neither.
Right, but you know what? We're ready, fire aim kind of people. Yeah. We go and we get things done. So, anyway, if you like what we're doing, please click on the bottom, subscribe. We're hoping to have Sean back. Actually, we're going to have Sean back because we're going to do big things with his non-for-profit and my father's cancer tournament. This is last. Yeah. We're doing the 25th and probably final tournament this year for my dad's cancer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
great.
So we'll get together on that, and then Richie also runs an event. So, anyway, I'm Bob Cardia.
The dashing Richie Stoltz.
Sean Sanchirico.
Yes, the inspirational Sean Sanchirico.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. Thanks.
You're
so
welcome,
much.
brother.
Thanks, appreciate it.
We will we'll do this again soon.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming, man.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Glass of bourbon, ha. My bourbon, ha. My bourbon, ha. Alcohol is no great story ever started with, I'll have a salad.